You've been sleeping like shit your entire life, and I'm about to tell you why. Number one, let me preface this by saying sleep is the number one most important thing. If you're gonna do one thing right, make sure that it's sleeping. Because sleeping is literally a third of your life. If you're sleeping good, you're sleeping 8 hours a day. But you only got 24 hours in a day. That makes up a third of your entire day, which makes up a third of your entire life. It's simple math. So why is sleep so important? Sleep is the pillar of absolutely everything. If you have a good diet, if you are making good money, but you're not sleeping good, you're not succeeding to the potential level that you could be succeeding at. It's a game of hours and minutes when it comes to sleep. I used to sleep religiously 6 hours a day. And I would wake up and I would feel that because I would feel tired. I wouldn't feel alert. I would feel myself zoning out a lot. I'd feel myself in a haze, constantly feeling like I'm a few seconds from taking a nap and just falling asleep. I would constantly be the one who's sleeping in class or keeping his head down on his desk like this, just trying to get the day go by so I can go home and sleep. And then I'd end up repeating this over and over again. And I finally beat the fucking system. I sleep minimum 8 hours a day now. Last night I slept 10. The week before that I was sleeping 10, 12, 10, some 8s. But I say this to say, how much potential could I have reached if I just locked in and actually sacrificed and did what it takes to get a good sleeping cycle going? Because when you break it down, it's really not that hard. The main thing is just sacrifice. That's what it took for me. It took sacrifice. Why? Because I wanted to stay up on my phone. That's all it was. I would just stay up on my phone watching YouTube videos, doom scrolling, playing video games, whatever it was, but it was always some type of screen. It was never like I was staying up to work on a project or to read a book. No, it was always staying up to do some degenerate shit, mindlessly scrolling through fucking TikTok, Instagram, texting people on Snapchat just because I'm bored. And it took me a really, really long time to realize that I was just digging my own grave. And for what reason? There was no reason, because I was doing these good habits where I was going to the gym, I was eating really good, really clean, but then I wasn't sleeping enough for my body to be able to recover. And then that just caused me to miss out on a lot of benefits that I could have had, not even just physical. I'm talking mental health as well. When you sleep better, when you sleep 8 hours of quality sleep, I'm not talking regular sleep, I'm talking quality sleep. What this does is this sets you off in just a different way where you are more relaxed, you are more present, you are more aware of what you're doing, you remember things better, you speak more clearly, you understand things better, you perform better. You waste less time and energy because you know exactly what you need to do and you know how to do it, and you also have the physical strength stored in your body from your sleep to be able to do whatever that you need to do in your day. If you need to go hit a heavy lift, well, you're prepared, you're ready, you've slept your 8 hours of quality sleep, and you're able to go smash that out right now. So I have a lot of tips right here, which is pretty much the entire recipe that I use. I didn't cut anything out. Like, this is down to the little details of what I do to get quality sleep. Now the key is quality sleep, because you can sleep 10 hours, but if it's not quality, maybe you're only getting maybe 45 minutes of deep sleep, which you could also get in 6 hours of quality sleep. So there is a trade-off. You need to know what you're doing. You need to put systems in place so that when you do go to bed, you wake up and you feel like you slept good. Now, one of the most important things is caffeine. Caffeine is a very good tool, a very useful tool. And what I used to do is I would go to work and then I'd finish around 4. At 4:30, I'd start working out. So around that time, I would take my pre-workout. And the thing about caffeine is it has a half-life of 8 hours. And what does that mean? That means 8 hours from now, your body will still have half of the caffeine that you initially took in. And then it just keeps breaking down like that. So it takes about a day for caffeine to fully flush out of your system. But it takes about 12 hours for caffeine to flush out of your system to the point where you can sleep and not feel the effects of the caffeine. And what I mean by feel the effects of the caffeine is you might not feel the caffeine in your body. However, your body feels it. Your body knows it's there. So what it does is it stops your body from actually being able to recover correctly the way it's meant to recover naturally without any... Basically what caffeine does is it blocks the receptors in your brain that tell your brain that you are tired. And that's why you feel wired when you drink caffeine, because technically to your body, you are not tired anymore. Or at least to your brain, you're not tired anymore. Your body is still tired, but your brain doesn't make that connection until after the caffeine wears out, which is why you crash. Next, cold environment. Sleeping in a cold environment is absolutely the game changer, 100%. The two most key things I would say are sleeping in a cold environment as well as sleeping in a dark environment. What sleeping in a cold environment is going to do for your body is it's going to tell your body that it's time to relax, because once your body temperature lowers, that is signaling to your body that it is time to rest and recover. By sleeping in a cold environment, you will ensure that your muscles are relaxed, your brain is relaxed, your thinking slows down, your brain waves slow down, and that in turn gives you better recovery per hour. And one thing I do to do this is 30 minutes before I go to bed, what I'll do is I'll turn my fan on full blast and I'll let it circulate the room so that the hot air can rise to the top. And that works really well. I'll leave it on for full blast, probably 15 minutes. And then when I come back in my room, it's absolutely freezing cold, which is how I love to sleep. I love sleeping in a very cold room. Next is your circadian rhythm and being consistent. Now, all of these tips that I'm telling you are not gonna matter if you are sleeping like a king, getting your really good 8 hours of quality sleep during the week, and then the weekend comes, and then you go out, and then you stay up, and then you come home, and then you're sleeping at 3 a.m., and then you're waking up at 12 p.m., when you usually go to bed at 9 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. If you even fuck it up one day, that pretty much sets back all of your progress. And I know that this is a hard pill to swallow, because for me, this was definitely the biggest pill, the hardest pill to swallow. And yes, if you want sleep, if you want quality sleep, it will take sacrifice. Do not expect this to be easy. That's why the majority of the people do not get quality sleep, because it does take sacrifice that you have to decide for yourself. Do I want to take the sacrifice? Do I want to improve my overall quality of life? Or do I want to mediocrely try and improve it, but then go out and drink on the weekends and stay up until 3, 4, 5 a.m. and fuck up my entire circadian rhythm? That is something you need to decide for yourself. Another thing that also helped me is making a distinction between your mind and your body being tired. Being able to recognize that. What do I mean by that? What I mean by this is, before, the way that I would go to sleep is, like I said, I would stay up on my phone and I would pass out when my eyes were so physically heavy and watery to the point where it hurt to keep them open. Now, this might take me 3 hours of scrolling on my phone to do, but can you think of how that's such an unhealthy way to force yourself to go to sleep? Because that's essentially what I was doing. I was trying to avoid going to bed by staying up on my phone because I had a bad relationship with sleep. And once I fixed my relationship with sleep, I was able to realize, okay, I was putting off sleep because I was on my phone, staying up, distracting myself from sleeping. Because, to be honest, I think it was the fact of, no, like, I want to stay up and I want to dopamine max and I want to watch another short or I want to watch another YouTube video. I was just chasing dopamine like a fucking rat chasing cheese. And that is why my sleep schedule was so fucked up my entire school life. I did not fix my sleep habits until literally 2 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's when I actually said, fuck this. I'm fixing my sleep schedule. I don't give a fuck what I have to sacrifice. I will have better sleep. And that is what got me to where I am now. I am sharper than I've ever been. My mental clarity is off the fucking walls. My memory is starting to come back from years and years and years of brain fog and bad sleep habits. And also, to add on to that, the fact that I took a break from smoking weed as well. I'm not gonna say I quit, because I know eventually I will smoke again, but not to the extent that I was before. Before, it was more of a daily thing, multiple times a day. I was abusing it. I told myself that I had a good relationship with it because I would do certain tasks in my day and then I would go smoke, or I would tell myself I'll go smoke so I can go do these things. Do you see how that's juxtaposition? Like, it doesn't make any sense. How are you gonna need to do something that's not technically healthy for you? Like, for your lungs, let's be real, it's not healthy to smoke anything. Any type of smoke that goes into your lungs is not good. You can argue the fact that you can use weed as a tool, and you absolutely can. And I have done that before, to the point where I'm only smoking, maybe once a week. And when you do it like that, okay, that's a whole different story. But when you're smoking 2-3 times a day, constantly trying to stay high and stimulated, like, that's a different story. That's where it gets dangerous, because you're becoming dependent on the drug. That's just to add on to the circadian rhythm, because I would be stoned and then I would stay up late because I was stoned and I wanted to stay high and I wanted to keep scrolling. So that kind of ties in together. So to say that, yes, you have to wake up and sleep at the exact same time, or a very similar time on the weekends. Maybe if you shift it off by an hour or maybe even 2 hours, you'll probably be okay. It won't be the end of the world. But if you're shifting it by anything more than like 4 hours, that's where you're getting into some pretty dangerous territory, because that's where you start to lose progress that you're trying to build. So this is kind of a all or nothing type situation. You either need to want it, or you need to just keep living your life, and, well, that's up to you what you want to do. But I want you to sleep better, so that's why I'm giving you these tips, because I know you can do it. Because I did it. I spent 19 years of my life sleeping like absolute dog shit. And it just took a mindset shift of, no, I'm actually gonna fix this, to be able to fix it. Let me tell you, you can do all these good habits, but if you don't have the mindset of somebody who has a good sleep cycle, you will always fall back to your baseline, and you will always have a shitty sleeping schedule as your baseline. You might sleep good 1 week, but then you'll fall back, and then you'll go back to your regular habits. The idea is consistency over time. You want to build this consistency. Now, for me, I needed a dramatic change. So what I did is I deleted my Instagram, I deleted my Snapchat, and I told myself, no, I'm gonna start taking myself and my sleep seriously. So I'm gonna do absolutely everything in my power so I can get the most quality sleep. And after hours of research, and hours of trial and error, well, days of trial and error. These are all the tips that I found that actually made my sleep matter. Another tip is you don't need to drink a lot of water before you go to sleep, which was something I was doing, and it would make me wake up in the middle of the night, need to piss, and it would kind of fuck up my sleep schedule. So my advice to you is stop drinking a lot of liquids around an hour to an hour and a half before you go to sleep. This will give your bladder time to flush out. And then what I would do is right before you go to bed, drink just a few sips of water, maybe a half cup of water, just to keep your body hydrated while you sleep, but not enough for your body to make excess fluid go through your bladder and then make you need to wake up in the middle of the night to go piss. That is a very good tip, because once you do that, if you're having a full straight sleep schedule, like no wake ups in between, that is where you will see the best benefits. Another game changer for me was magnesium. Supplementing magnesium tablets, magnesium pills. The recommended dose, I believe they say it's somewhere from 200 to 400 milligrams if you're a male. And the amount of magnesium that I take is 300 milligrams. I take 2 pills of 150 milligrams, and I just take this probably 30 minutes before I go to bed, and I really, really feel the difference. Like, when 20 or 30 minutes goes by and I'm in my bed, my muscles just relax, and like my muscles feel very calm, and my body just calms down, and like my nerves just go down, and like, I don't know if it's placebo or not, but I definitely did not feel like this at all before going to bed when I didn't take magnesium. So do with that what you will. And magnesium supplements are pretty cheap, so I honestly don't even take melatonin anymore. I just take magnesium. My sleep cycle has kind of reset to the point where I don't really need melatonin anymore. My body just knows when to wake up and when to go to sleep. Granted, I'm doing night shift right now, so I wake up earlier in the day, do my shift, I come home, and then I sleep, and then my body wakes up on its own. When I go back to day shift, it's gonna be a little different. You can't really let your body wake yourself up unless your sleep schedule is very set in stone, because you might miss an alarm and you might be late to work and whatever. In the night shift, what I did is I would let my body wake up whenever I wanted, because I didn't work until 8 p.m. anyways. So even if I sleep 10, 12 hours, I still wake up at 6 p.m. and have time to get to work on time. Now, one other tip that I actually I didn't create this, but I discovered this when I was very, very young, is the way to reset my nervous system was to take 3 deep breaths. So literally, you want to really exaggerate it. You want to try and breathe in and out as slow as possible. I'm talking the idea is to breathe in as much air as possible, hold your breath for a second or two, just to really feel that air, feel your lungs full of air, and then blow out as much air as you can. When I do that 3 times, that absolutely calms me down to another level, and it resets your nervous system. This is just a biological fact. When you take deep breaths, it tells your body that you are relaxed and that there are no dangers around. You can apply this back to the caveman times where you were chasing a bear or whatever the fuck you were doing. You were in some high stress situation and you were breathing very high, hyperventilating. And once that danger is gone, you breathe because you're telling your body, okay, I am safe now. It is okay to relax. So your awareness of your surroundings goes down and you're able to feel safe and you're able to go to sleep way easier like this. So I just took 3 breaths. I've been doing that since a little kid. One day I couldn't sleep and I did that, and Ever since then, that's always what has helped me fall asleep fast. Like when I do this, I probably fall asleep within probably 15 minutes, I'd say, of doing that. Because once you do that, you focus on your body, you focus on the physical, and then after a certain point you realize, okay, I actually am tired. Like I feel the heaviness in my body, I feel the blood rushing through my body. I just want to relax and go to bed. And then that's one of the best tips that has helped me fall asleep. So if you're gonna take anything away from this, is consistency matters the most. Once you have the consistency, you can work on the quality of sleep. But the most important thing is having that consistency. And to have that consistency, you need to have the mindset of somebody who has a very locked in sleep schedule. Once you do all of these tips, let me know in the comments after 2 weeks or whatever how your progress has been. I've been doing all of these tips for the past 2 weeks, and this has helped me a lot. Oh, also a little side note that I forgot to mention is eating before you go to sleep. If you're gonna eat before you go to sleep, try and wait about an hour, and don't lay down right after eating, because then your digestion will not work the way it's supposed to. Your body needs to be upright so that the food can use gravity and travel through your stomach acids and digest and all that good stuff. So if you're gonna eat, try and eat a lighter meal. And also, if you're gonna eat, try and walk a little bit, because walking a little bit boosts digestion. So even if you do a couple laps around your kitchen, go for a night walk, 5 minutes, doesn't need to be nothing crazy. Do that, and your body will actually be able to focus on putting its energy into restoring your body and not putting its energy into digesting the food that you've ate. You might think, oh, but if I eat protein, then my body's gonna have protein and it's gonna be able to recover better. Yes and no. Yes, if you eat the protein and then you give it time to digest. No, if you just eat it and then you just lay down, you're gonna have digestion issues. You might wake up with the shits, or you might wake up like feeling a little nauseous, or your body will know that something's wrong. So just keep that in mind if you are gonna eat. And with that, I hope you guys max your sleep. I'm here on the highway, beautiful ass day. My name is Zero. My mission is Glory Vision. It's been a blessing spitting some facts to y'all, and I hope that y'all can maximize your sleep to the full potential so y'all can reach your highest self. Self Maxers out.